Morning, Keiichi. My, what time did you go to sleep? I did not sleep well last night at all. My mother could tell from a single glance. I had the worst dreams. Nightmares, very ominous dreams, one after the other, again and again. I woke up after each one, but could never even remember a fraction of what they had been about. But it was like those dreams were predicting something unpleasant, and I woke up in a terrible mood. Hey now, every day has been calm and fun before today, right? Those days should continue on, unchanging. And yet, anxiety was the only emotion growing within me. Why was that? Probably because you talked to Shion and Mion and Rena and they all kind of scared the hell out of you. Nightmares reflect your own anxiety. They show an uneasy mind that which you wouldn't admit to normally. Yesterday, I remembered the ominous conversations about Satoshi I had with Mion, Shion, and Rena. Right. My mind felt like it was in a black fog because we had talked about that. If I'd lived every day without causing a fuss, my reward would be ever more peaceful days. I understood that. So why did I cause such discord? But now that I thought about it calmly, a simple verbal slip on my part couldn't possibly change the world. Yeah. As long as I'm sorry for doing it and never talk about it again, there's nothing that anyone can blame me for, right? Besides, how would my fate possibly change just because I talked about that? Nothing was going to change. Yeah, nothing would change. Nothing would change. Nothing would change. That's a creepy smile. If you're still half asleep, then go wash your face. His mom's like, wow, you're a creepy kid, honestly. I'd finally cheered up enough to smile, and Mom slapped me right back down. Now I was irritated again. There wasn't much time left before I had to meet up with Rena. I frantically started to get ready to go to school. Have a good day. Watch out for cars. There's barely any cars to watch out for. In Hinamizawa, anyway. I dashed out the front door. The morning air was far more refreshing than the water on my face. That's right, my Bara Keiichi. If you're sorry enough about it and reflect upon your mistakes, that's enough. Wow. That sure is something that people have told him before. Now let's pull yourself together and get to school. And return to fun, enjoyable days. Bro, if you don't stop talking about your Nichijou, you're raising so many flags. Where everyone laughs, plays, and just has a good time. I'll be nice to Sadako as an apology, too. Yeah. Wasn't I supposed to be her Nini until Satoshi got back? Good morning, Keiichi-kun. Rena, too, looked nothing like she had yesterday when she said that weird stuff. If I could only forget, then I could still act like nothing had happened. So I called out to her with all the energy I could muster. Hey, morning, Rena. Early as usual today. How? Morning. Good morning. There was little time before the same old morning homeroom began. But Sadako and Rika-chan were unusually absent. Maybe they went to play somewhere? However, looking over and seeing none of their things, so it looked like they really hadn't come to school. They're almost never late. Rena seemed to be enjoying herself thinking about what their excuse for being late would be. Mion said something nonsensical as well, imagining how funny the reason they were late must have been. Oh, I bet it's gonna be so funny. I had only come to school to see their energetic faces since I figured it would get rid of these feelings I have. But the load on my chest remained where it was. It wasn't very pleasant at all. Oh my god. Chie-sensei's sprite is just gonna be a regular occurrence now, I guess. Good morning, everyone. President, if you would. Everybody stand up. Our teacher finally arrived. Then, finally, I heard the pitter-patter of footsteps running down the hall. Clatter. Rika-chan was the first to run through the open door. And then Sadako didn't come. You're late, Furude-san. Where's Hojo-san? It was unusual for Rika-chan to be late, but equally unusual for Sadako, a ball of energy, to be absent at all. Everyone's eyes were wide at the series of strange events. Sadako might be a little late. Has she come down with something? The teacher walked over to Rika-chan and they started talking in hushed tones. Rika-chan is late and Sadako is absent. I guess crazy things can happen. You're right. But I wonder what happened with Sadako-chan. Is she sick? Why now, when I most wanted to see Sadako's energetic face? The unease that had been building since last night tightened within my chest. No, nothing really happened with Sadako at the barbecue. Kei-chan, you worry too much. Sometimes girls of her age can't help but stay homesick. Mi-chan, you're not supposed to say that around boys. Mion laughed indecently. Normally I would laugh along with her, but right now I just didn't feel like it. Mion's so fucking vulgar. She's like, I don't know, maybe she's got her period. Like, okay, Mion. Homeroom ended, and we went to talk to Rika-chan in the short time before first period started. Hey, Rika-chan, you look so sad. So very sad when getting yelled at for being late. I was like, why is he talking like that? And I realized he was mimicking her speech pattern. I'll make sure to pet you today. I was very aware of my gloom this morning, so I strove to keep my tone cheerful. I petted Rika-chan's head the same way she always did, but she didn't cheer up at all. Me. What happened to Sadako? Did she get sick? For instance, she got a fever from playing around too much yesterday. If that had been her response, I would have accepted it in a flash. But the atmosphere around Rika-chan felt somehow heavy. It was a little weird, and actually made my unease worse. Hey, come on, come on. There's certain things she can't talk to boys about. Kei-chan, back to your seat, back to your seat. Mion, acting just like a club president, pulled me back to my chair. Rika-chan's gaze immediately fell back to her desk, and she hung her head gloomily. Rika-chan had said something odd, that Sadako might be a little late. They were living together, weren't they? Then she would have known for sure. She wouldn't have said might. I didn't understand why she was absent, and that made me all the more anxious. Damn it. What's going on today? It's like we started off on the wrong foot and it wasn't going to get any better. What's the matter, Keiichi-kun? You seem pretty down this morning. Rena noticed how I look and whispered to me while the teacher wasn't looking. Do I really seem that way? Yeah. Even Rena is starting to feel down just looking at you. I thought of jokingly saying, then don't look at me, but I didn't even feel like doing that. Is it something you can tell Rena? I don't know what you're worried about, but if I can help, then you can tell me, okay? I won't tease you. Irena said this, looking me straight in the eye. Sorry for the random question, but is the abuse we're going to touch on this chapter sexual in any way, or just like the other kinds? People disagree on that. I do not believe that it is. I do not believe sexual abuse is broached in this chapter. But it is mentioned once as a possibility. Yeah. As I gave a little disclaimer earlier, but Tatarigoroshi-hen does contain child abuse, and I'll try to give people heads ups for when some particularly rough stuff is coming up. And there is the redeem to if you need to be added when a scene is over. It is more discussions of it and mentions of it than actual scenes of it, but yeah, this chapter can be rough at times, so just want to make sure everybody has a heads up on that. Until yesterday, nothing strange had happened, and it was a lot of fun. Oh, Games, thank you for the posture check and the hydrate. Huh? Rena's eyes widened for a moment, not understanding what I meant, but she remained silent and listened. It was peaceful and fun. Every day was lively. I never had any doubt things would stay that way forever. Yeah, you're right. Every day is fun. I'm sure today will be too. You're sure? How do you know? Well... Rena, feeling perplexed, couldn't think of something to say. I didn't blame her. What I was trying to say seemed a little confusing even to me. When I think about it, I've been anxious lately. Like maybe, since every day is fun, one day, all of a sudden, it would get really dark, like a light bulb turned off. Yeah. Rena kind of understands how you feel. Oof. Rena nodded gently. We've always been taught that it wouldn't only be good things happening to us. Sometimes I'm scared of what's going on behind the fun. It's a little bit sad, but because of that, we learned how to do our best to make sure that the fun never stops. I see. So it's not a bad thing that you think our fun lives might not go on forever, Keiichi-kun. Kinda like... Like if suddenly there was a volcanic eruption tomorrow and everyone died. Hey, wait, that's terrible. If you were the only one who survived the catastrophe, Keiichi-kun, how would you feel? How would I... I imagine myself being that sole survivor in the ruins of Hinamizawa. Rubble and the bodies of friends lying in heaps at my feet. It was such an abhorrent sight. Was it sadder that all my friends had died? Or was it sadder that I couldn't have died with them? I didn't know which, but I'd probably cry a lot. It'd probably break my heart. First, I think I'd cry. And then maybe you would think this. If this was my destiny, then I should have made sure every day before this was as fun as possible, so I had no regrets. I didn't want to consider such a horrible event to be my destiny, but... I probably would think that. Lilybat, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Zanji perfected me. Please follow Lilybat if you don't do so already. Thank you for giving her a shout out, mod. Don't know who that was, but thank you. Raiders, welcome. It's Higurashi time. We're in it deep. Mutated May, thank you for the follow. I gave everyone a content warning already, and a rundown of the gist. Thank you, Lilybat. Welcome, Raiders. I'm Proxy Askew. I'm a VTuber. I'm an alien. I play a lot of fighting games and RPGs and visual novels. Lately, I've been doing a lot of Darkest Dungeon 2 and Higurashi. And I will be playing a lot of Street Fighter 6 when that comes out. No 5 for me, but gosh, there's going to be plenty of 6. Anyway, here we are. We're pretty good into chapter 3 of Higurashi. Yo, Astra, good to see you. Hey, welcome. Street Fighter 6. Very true, everyone. Can't wait. I played a lot of Jury in that beta. It was really fun. Lily, did you have a good stream? I hope stream was good. Yo, Joey, thank you for gifting a sub to Asta. I appreciate you. Always watching. What's good, man? I hope you're doing well. Astra, please enjoy your gift sub. I kind of don't really like SF5, and I realize this every time I play it, but I'm excited for 6, I think. Hell yeah. I also don't care for 5 too much, but I really like 6 so far. Oh yeah, I need to pre-order 6 and not know what I'm getting. Me out here complaining about crush counters. Loving punish counters. You were about to love Street Fighter 5 when you were fighting Gin. It was because 2 people who didn't know what they were doing were playing. It was fun. And then I fought people who knew what they were doing, and I was like, oh right, I remember what high-level Street Fighter 5 is like. Anyway, to sum up the recent events of this chapter, Keiichi is worried because Sadako didn't show up to school today. And Rena was like, hey, Keiichi, what if everyone you love died? And he was like, huh? And she was like, if that happened, wouldn't you wish that you had spent as much time as you could being happy with them first? And I was like, damn. That's wild to say. But maybe it's helping cheer Keiichi up? I don't know. I probably would think that. The fun times will end one day, and nobody knows when they will. It makes sense to live each day to the fullest, so that if it doesn't happen tomorrow, you don't regret anything. Yeah. It's really hard to think like that. A lot of people take their everyday happiness for granted. They think tomorrow will be the same as today, so they leave things that they could do today for tomorrow. They leave the kindness that they could have showed today until tomorrow. Wait, now she's kind of spitting? Rena was usually cheerful and silly, but right now she wasn't like that at all. She was taking my troubles seriously. It was a little reassuring. Rena's the GOAT, truly. Rena is like the BFF. But Keiichi-kun, you realized it. I think that's a wonderful thing. So that unease you have, I think you should keep it close to your heart. Keep my unease close. Yes. Everyone might die tomorrow in a big catastrophe, so you should be really nice to everyone today. So when the end really does come, you don't regret it. That's a really wild way to put that sentiment, but, you know. Do you do that, Rena? Yeah, Iris, I agree. She is a fantastic character. She obviously has a lot of depth to her. And there's things that we don't know about her yet, but she's a fantastic character. Live like you would have no... Do you do that, Rena? Live like you would have no regrets if everyone died tomorrow? Yeah. It was such a hyperbolic conversation, but Rena just gave me a nonchalant nod of her head. Rena knows what it's like for the fun times to end overnight. She knows that there's no proof tomorrow will be fun, even if today is. I'm living life to the fullest. Yo, what up, Action? Welcome, welcome. You have been dumped into a Higurashi stream. Welcome, and also my apologies. It seemed like Rena perfectly understood all the anxiety I couldn't put into words. And on top of that, like a reliable teacher, she showed me what to do. Ooh. Hey, Maibara Keiichi. There's no need to cry now. Last night, I feel like I had a dream about Sadako. I don't remember what kind of dream it was, but ever since this morning, I've felt anxious. Because you thought seeing Sadako-chan's energetic face would cheer you up? She was right on the money. If everyone had been here with smiles on their faces this morning, then the murk in my heart would have definitely been blown to smithereens. Then, if Sadako-chan arrives, you'll have to be nice to her. Actually, it's totally fine if you play your usual pranks on each other. As long as you're having fun. Yeah, you're right. So that even if these fun days came to an end, I'd have no regrets. I couldn't tell if what Rena told me had been comforting or just made me more anxious. But it was enough to make me think that if I saw Sadako again, I'd be honest with her. Oh, Marche, that's an interesting question. Lunchtime arrived, with everyone pushing their desks together like always. Sadako wasn't here. Despite that, we had bento boxes for 5 lined up on our desks. Rika-chan had made a bento for Sadako, too. Was Sadako supposed to be here before lunch? Rika-chan was clearly acting strangely. We were talking to her, but it felt like she was too far away to hear us. I'd never seen Rika-chan so downcast. So the rest of us started feeling down, too. Well, Lily, that's just kind of the only thing I can do. But it is fun. You'll find out, said Proxy. Hey, Rena. I understood what she had said before pretty well. When we were together, we were supposed to have lots of fun, so we wouldn't have any regrets if the world ended tomorrow. And yet, while I just resolved myself to it, now we can't all be together. What the hell? Because it was just so sudden, wasn't it? I mean, yesterday was fun, so who could believe it would all end today? No volcanoes had erupted, and no earthquakes or fires had happened either. The cicadas were making the same noise they did yesterday, and the sun remained bright in the sky. It was the same normal day as always. But then, why... As I pondered, Rena's chopsticks reached out in front of my face and stole the fried chicken out of my bento. If no one else wants it, Rena will take it. Delicious. Rena tossed the entire piece into her mouth and began munching on it, her expression one of bliss. I'm such an old man. Rena got a leg up on me. Alright. This old man's taking a bit of this steak right here. Me. All my food is gone except my rice. Rika-chan, also behind the curve, smiled again and went for someone else's bento. As I sat there, dazed at how quickly everyone had changed, Rena sent a wink over to me. Come on, Keiichi-kun. Live life to the fullest. That way, if a volcano erupts tomorrow, it'll be okay. This is serious. I'll be damned if dried plums and rice are the only things I have left for lunch. I'm taking that meatball. I stuffed the meat into my mouth and constructed a clumsy smile. I played along, as if trying to fool myself. But as I did, it rapidly became less and less of an act. I do kind of love the... Things are a little goofy. Music. Hijinks aren't quite ensuing, but they almost are. This is almost hijinks. Sadako still wasn't here. But at some point, we had regained our lively lunchtime. We had fun. We smiled, and we fooled around. Thanks, everyone. This was definitely the best thing to do. This way, when Sadako suddenly dropped by, we could welcome her with our best smiles. The more I smiled, the more I felt the anxiety from this morning clearing away. Wasn't there a proverb that went something like, fortune comes in a merry... Yeah, I just turned it up a little. I think I have Higurashi turned down a bit. Let me crank it a tiny bit for y'all. How's that? Is that better? I don't want it to be like overpowered. Whoa! There we go. Wasn't there a proverb that went something like, fortune comes in by a merry gate? I think so. If it's true, then this old man will roll around on the floor laughing 24/7. Rana thinks it's true. If you laugh every day, it'll be fun every day. Rana has a way with words. Then, should we try it out? Yo, Final Fantasy X Titus laughing scene? Everyone took a deep breath, then brought their faces together, locking shoulders. And then... Wah ha 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 ha! Wah ha 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 ha! I'm just assuming. Everyone laughed uproariously from their stomachs, trying to laugh out all the bad stuff accumulating in them. By the time our bento boxes were empty, everyone was right as rain. It worked! Higurashi, when they cry. If you don't appreciate the fake laughing scene from Final Fantasy X, you're banned from my chat room for 1 billion years. Thank you, Lelybat. Having heard our friendly banter, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun walked up and timidly spoke to us. Excuse me, Maibara-san. Sorry to interrupt your fun, but we need your help with something. They grinned dryly and scratched their heads. What could it be? Want to know how to remove the censor bar in porn magazines? By the way, don't believe what you hear about butter doing the trick. Total superstition. Uchi. You can't use an eraser either. Wait, what? Seriously? That's not what we're here for, said Tomita-kun, elbowing Okamura-kun. Actually, our ball got caught in the gutter on the second floor. We were thinking you might be able to reach it since you're tall. I see. Asking an upperclassman for help comes with its own price, you know. I'm not cheap. Can't buy me out so easily. Another gutter, huh? Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun conversed for a short time, then gave their reply. We'll give you the right to take a nap during class, Maibara-san. How does that sound? What do you mean? I can sleep during class whenever I want. Why do I need your permission for it? Oh, no you can't. The next time you take a nap, we'll tell Sensei about it. Yo! I see. How sly. You little... Where did you learn to bargain like that? Ugh. Sorry. It was just a little joke. Come on, Kei-chan. Why not just cave to your underclassmen's threats? And now Mion was getting on my nerves. Suddenly, it came to me, and I took Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's hands. Alright, I surrender. I'll get your ball for you, so give me all the rights to nap time. Huh? Oh, okay. Look, Mion. I now have the privilege. But you don't, do you? Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun. Tell on Mion as soon as she falls asleep. Got it? Yo. Could Sonozaki Mion be defeated this easily? Yeah. Rena and Rika-chan began to cackle at Keiichi-kun's victory. 4D chess. I wasn't sure how the ball managed to get stuck up there, but it was firmly planted in the school building's second-floor gutter. Hand me that stick. I should be able to reach it. Here we go. Ugh. I took a bamboo pole and poked the ball with it. Damn, it's hard. Come on. Oh, he got it. You got it, my Bara-san. Thank you so much. The ball rolled down the gutter and fell down behind the school building. My underclassmen ran over in that direction, leaving me by myself. Mission complete, I guess. Sheesh. There was still a lot of time left until lunch break was over. Guess I should go back to the classroom. I'd absorb myself in a silly conversation with everyone and wait for afternoon classes. Just when I thought that and turned toward the entrance, someone suddenly called out to me. How many of you knew? As soon as I said someone suddenly called out to me. Hi, Barrow. Oh my god. Chat is the Oishi hate zone. I love it. Hello there. Good day. Sorry for bothering you during your lunch break. It was a middle-aged man I didn't know. Or maybe I'd passed by him a few times and I'd seen his face, but I didn't know him. When his half-smile deepened, something within me shuddered with fear. There was no basis for that. No reason. But I shuddered. I was somewhat confused about these emotions, not quite understanding them myself. There was one thing I could say, though. Nobody but teachers and students should be at school. That's fucking right, Keiichi. This person shouldn't have been here. I felt less of a tremble and more of a sense of dread, like a brilliantly colored poisonous caterpillar were crawling across my forehead. You good, Keiichi? Games, I'm gonna go with no based on this sentence. A feeling of disgust that neither itchy nor gross could describe as the frizzled, dreadful hair rubbed against my brow. I didn't even want to see his face. I wanted to jump backwards and run away. An unpleasant feeling, for which I didn't even know the cause. Keiichi is just immediately like, yo, I hate this dude. I do not know why. The other side of myself had nothing but questions. Hey, what are you doing? What are you disgusted by? This is the first time you've met him. It's rude to hate someone for no reason. No answers were coming. Held my silence, waiting. A damp sweat running down my forehead. When he saw that, Oishi thought maybe he was being intimidating and gave me a relaxed smile. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a really interesting line. You should all think about that line. Yeah, it made me, a person who has read Higurashi before, do a double take. Oh, please excuse me. I'm no one suspicious, I assure you. I'm Oishi, from the Okinomiya Police Department. Wait, where did I put my card? Zanji seems to have figured out the significance of it. Huh? What? This is... What? He fished through various pockets, then finally found his police ID and showed it to me, grinning dryly. He may have been trying to use those clumsy-seeming actions to ease my anxiety, but I could definitely say it didn't work. Why was I this nervous? To be blunt about it, because I would have caught it if it was my first read, and I'm just gonna... Keiichi referred to him as Oishi before Oishi introduced himself. Why was I this nervous? There was a reason, of course. If I wanted today to be the same as before, then today didn't need someone who hadn't been here back then. The fact that a man who wasn't here yesterday showed up today meant that today would be a different day than those before it. That would mark the end of the fun and happy days. I gulped and erased that ominous conclusion from my mind. Calm down, my bara, Keiichi. It's just an old guy who looks kind of perverted and came from the police department. Don't go deciding that the fun times are over. He just came here because of his job. Yeah, just for his job. Hey, Morgana. If he's working, then he would normally go to the teacher's lounge, right? The fact that he spoke to me, yes, it must have been to ask where it was. Are you looking for the teacher's lounge? You just have to go through the entrance, and... I didn't want to look at this man for another second, so I started pushing things along. Oishi, however, didn't seem to have any interest in the teacher's lounge. Oh, no. I don't have anything to do there. Could I get you to call a friend of yours, if I may be so bold? A friend? Who? A girl. Could you call Hojo Sadako-san for me? My consciousness grew faint. Now, this is genuinely terrifying, but it's hard to read so much Higurashi and not kind of start to chuckle at, like, as soon as, like, Keiichi, someone says a sentence to Keiichi that freaks him out, and then he's immediately like, I almost passed out right there on the spot. All my blood turned into icicles and pierced my brain. Like I was about to pass out. Oh my god, Keiichi. My consciousness grew faint, like I was about to pass out. Yes, my anxiety was realized. The dreadful, disgusting caterpillar was looking at me, about to crawl into my ears. Its frizzly, dreadful hair was touching my ear cavity. That's how bad it felt. What do the police need with Sadako? No. It's nothing important. I just had 2 or 3 things to ask. I'd like it if you could just cooperate with me. Who says 2 or 3 things to ask instead of 1 or 2? Why? Why, of all people, was it Sadako? Why would a police officer come here in the middle of the day for something that wasn't important? This man was strange. I could smell it. And it smelled bad. Just a whiff of it made me want to grimace. I knew that this man couldn't possibly be here to deliver her lost wallet or anything. I couldn't imagine what he needed from Sadako, but it had to be something unpleasant. Ugh. My throat stung with burning pain. Burned like a parched, creviced wasteland. The wasteland broke apart deep in my throat and brought out the words from deep in my mind. I'm not giving Keiichi shit for being, terrified by this. I just am kind of laughing at him for being so poetic about it, but, shoutouts to Keiichi. Forever. You may need something from her, but I don't think Sadako needs anything from you. Let's go! Could you please leave? My bar, no pigs at Pride, Keiichi. No pigs at school. Oishi probably hadn't expected that reply. He stood there surprised for a few moments. I did as well. I hadn't thought words like that could ever come out of my mouth. Things might still work out. This guy may have shown up out of the blue, but if I drove him out, maybe I could make it so that it never happened. If I could do that, then I could get back the peace we had until yesterday. I could get it back. Ooh, that's a little worrying. Well, you sure are strict. Are you Sadako-san's manager, perhaps? Manager. Can I not see her without an appointment? If you just want to talk to her, shouldn't you just call her? Barging into the school in the middle of the day isn't normal. Breaking through a dam would have been the perfect analogy to use. Why didn't I like this man? This man shouldn't have been here. I needed to make it so this man wasn't here. Childish, selfish emotions bubbled up from the depths of my mind as they each came out of my mouth just as it had been formed. Not liking the guy was my own problem, but to say things so bluntly to him, even I thought it was crazy. Oh, you're the logical sort, aren't you? I'm not too good with people who talk like that. Oishi grinned and scratched at his sweaty throat. Even as he feigned stupidity, I could tell he was irritated. Hey, Maibara Keiichi. Why am I looking for a fight with this old policeman here? It's not like he brought the gift of misfortune with him, all wrapped up in paper, right? Right. It wasn't like he had brought a package of misfortune with him and asked me to sign here, please. Rationally speaking, I understood all that. So then why was I so... Keiichi's like, man, it's not like this guy is the harbinger of misfortune or anything. Finally, I outlasted Oishi in our game of silence, and he gave a big sigh. Then he addressed a few of my female underclassmen running around nearby. Zanji makes an interesting point. This is the first time Oishi has shown up before Wada Nagashi. Or at least has shown up at the school before Wada Nagashi. Oh, excuse me, all of you. Do you have a moment? I'd like you to call Hojo Sadako-san if you could. My underclassmen tried to smile and reply, but they noticed the oddly stiff atmosphere around me and seemed hesitant to give a quick answer. Is she not here? Hojo Sadako-san? Hojo-san, she stayed home today. Stayed home? I can't tell if Keiichi is legitimately suffering from formication or if he just can't stop it. Interesting. This is a new sprite. Let's take a look at the old art. Wow. The old art is actually really good. I mean, it's, it is the old art, but yeah, the expression is really chilling. This is the most threatening we've seen Oishi look. That's... Oh, God. Yeah, that's creepy. The new art is, like, kind of creepy, but it's... Oh yeah, games, I also know what fornication is, so I did that thing where I forgot that not everyone knows what fornication is. His face... Yo, welcome, Salamandric. He does have the dad bod of the century. It sucks that Oishi is a fucking cop, because he is, like, pretty hot. He would be. His face remained smiling, but his tone was clearly one of ill humor. Such conspicuous spite caused my underclassmen, who had answered honestly, to cringe in fear. I see. Dear me. I'm quite unlucky. He was smiling broadly, but the way he laughed didn't make me feel better at all. When he noticed that his laughter wasn't getting anyone to laugh with him, he immediately stopped. God, there's the face again. So, you girls, could you tell me the name of this boy here? Oh, fuck off. Ooh. Keiichi calling Oishi cringe. He grabbed the girls by the shoulders so they wouldn't run away and crouched down to address them at eye level. Oishi going cop mode. The girls flinched away from the sharp, piercing light in his gaze. And in exchange for their release, they didn't resist and told him my name. I see. Maibara Keiichi-san, is that it? He said my full name. That was all he said, and yet I couldn't help but shudder. It was like he had grabbed me by the collar just with those words. Oh, could you be the son of the Maibara family I've heard so much about? Oh my god, Zanji hitting the, that's the line. That's the voiced line. Maibara Keiichi desu. I want to listen to the rap so bad. Is it a spoiler? We can listen to it after Chapter 3. The rap only spoils Chapters 1 through 3. So after Tatarigoroshi-hen, we can finally watch the canon Higurashi rap performed by Keiichi and Oishi. I hear your father is a renowned artist. His works go on display twice a year in the Great Ariake exhibition in Tokyo, don't they? I don't know what sort of fantastic pictures he creates, though. Then there's your mother. She seems intelligent, too. I heard she was a high academic achiever. She went to some girls' university, didn't she? It's amazing for someone that age to have graduated from a girls' university. Could your mother actually be the daughter of a respectable family? At least, those are the rumors, and they say she's a cold person because of it. Did you know that? She only went to the very first neighborhood association meeting, right? That's certainly no good. You can't disrespect your neighbors in a place like this. Oh, thank you for the hydrate and the posture check, Sarge. Yeah, I think it is worth pointing out that Oishi has not treated Keiichi like this in the other 2 loops. This is wild. I mean, he has treated him poorly, but he has not done this. A sense of eeriness slithered up my spine. That was my first experience of true terror. I was about to say they're playing the theme of absolute terror in the background. I couldn't believe it felt this terrible for someone you've just met to know everything about you already. Oishi clamped onto my shoulders and brought his eyes close to peer into mine. In a place like this, it would be far better not to make enemies, wouldn't it? If not... Ow! Oishi dug into my shoulders with inhuman strength. Ah! Then if something unexpected were to happen, you might see some drawbacks. Have you ever heard of karma? It's like how a butterfly flapping its wings can cause a tornado. Grudges born in strange places could come back to you in ways you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't like that, would you? Nobody wants to have a grudge held against them. There's nothing positive about making enemies. What's the matter? Your shoulders are very stiff. Should I give you a massage? See? Feels good, right? Ow. 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 This man wasn't just strong. It was like he knew exactly where to press to make me feel pain. Only 4 or 5 fingers were on my shoulders, and yet the pain made me want to bend over backwards. Yeah, I believe Emmy mentioned this in a previous chapter, but Rikishi, the writer, is a social worker, or was a social worker, as well as being the author of Higurashi. So he might have had some thoughts about cops. A few of the girls from my class were pretty shaken up, but didn't seem to want to help me. They weren't sure if they should go call the teacher. As for me, I couldn't take the time to wait until the teacher got here. Haven't people gone spooky mode before Watanagashi in this chapter? Rena did. Mion notably did not. Mion did not go spooky mode. Have people gone spooky mode before Watanagashi in the previous books? No, they have not. Mion did a normal punch. Yeah, Mion basically verbally told Rena to stop being spooky mode 3 times, and then eventually was like, Rena, you are pissing me off, and punched her in the head. As for me, I couldn't take the time to wait until the teacher got here. Ugh. It hurts. Would you mind leaving things at that? You're hurting him. It's everyone's favorite hero. Behind Oishi-san, someone... He is dripped out, it's true. To my disbelief, it was Coach. Oh my. If it isn't Dr. Irie. It certainly has been a while since we were last in touch. Discomforted by Coach's sudden appearance, Oishi laughed scornfully. The vice on my shoulders, however, remained as strong as ever. Never mind the greetings. Please, just let go of Maibara-kun. Oishi smiled daringly and glared straight at Coach. He didn't release me in the meantime, of course. I was just thinking of stopping by your place later, Doctor. We did not know he was a doctor. No, this is the first time it was mentioned. Is the glasses a new sprite? Oh, yes, it is. Thank you. Serious mode Irie? Oh, that's, you don't want to fuck with this, man. Bro is looking positively shonen. He's about to hit you with serious series consecutive normal punches. I was just thinking of stopping by your place later, Doctor. You always seem so busy, and we can never have a good chat. Yes. If you want, I'll chat with you all you like. But please be sure to have a warrant first. After all, otherwise, I can refuse to go voluntarily into questioning. It's Irie. Ryukishi really wants us to just assume. He really wants us to just think that all of Irie's jokingly gross dialogue doesn't exist. Because he's supposed to be based. This is the character. This is the character Ryukishi messed up with. This is the character he fucked up with. Honestly, this is like Irie's characterization is my biggest criticism of Higurashi. Because he's the joking pervert. But this is who he is. This is the man that he actually is. It's unfortunate. You don't have to make one of those characters. You don't have to make him be like that. Coach didn't display a shred of the weird behavior he'd shown at the baseball game and barbecue. He stared steadily at Oishi and fought so that he would release me. His chances were terribly bad, of course. Compared to the relaxed Oishi, Coach seemed like he was being defeated mentally. It made sense. Coach had a somewhat narrow stature, but Oishi's body was packed with muscles. It wasn't even a contest. But Coach was fighting for me without taking a step back. Beads of sweat formed on his face, and though he paled, he was fighting for my sake. Suddenly, Oishi laughed and let go of my shoulders. My body exhausted, and I fell right onto my backside. Is Keiichi sinned yet? Spade, that's a good question. I think that's a question for the chat. Maibara-kun, are you alright? Ugh, damn it. Ow. Yeah, see if you can tell me what his sin is, though. No, there's no consensus on what his sin is. I rubbed my shoulders where Oishi had latched onto them. The pain from falling over went away quickly, but this pain was lingering. Are you alright, Maibara-kun? This is terrible. Shit. Ow. Ow. I was just giving him a little massage. Maibara-san, aren't you over-exaggerating a bit? Boys have got to learn to man up. It's like Oishi is saying everything possible to make my chat room specifically hate him as much as they can. I wanted to retort, but I couldn't think of anything witty. Can you lift your shoulders? Are they in pain? If you're really hurt, then you should have a proper checkup. Let's just go to the nurse's office. Coach lent me his shoulder and walked beside me. What an exaggeration. I'd be the last person to do any sort of permanent damage, right? I am still an active police officer, you know. I don't know what you needed to be here for, but if you're finished, then please leave. I'm going to complain about this directly to the chief, so please keep that in mind. Oh, that's a problem, ain't it? Oishi-san waved his hand sarcastically, pivoted around, and headed to the car parked by the school gates. And without turning back around, he got in and started the engine. Damn it. Who the hell was he? Damn it. He's a detective named Oishi Kurado. And a hooligan. Everyone in the village hates him. Maibara-san, you should be careful too. Oishi Kurado. Just like I thought, my gut instinct wasn't wrong. He would be the one to bring unhappiness, misfortune, something that would ruin our peace. Oh, we did get his first name, actually, in the past. Shit. I won't accept it. All these fun days can't possibly end just because some guy like him showed up. I won't accept it. Coach seemed to be familiar with the school, so he brought me to the nurse's office without much trouble. The girls from my class came along as well, looking worried. Our teacher and the principal, having noticed the disturbance, came to see what was the matter. Maibara-kun, what's wrong? Are you hurt? Well, there was this weird man in the schoolyard just now, and... Oh, these are the little girls. Well, there was this weird man in the schoolyard just now, and Maibara-san... Coach gently interrupted the girls trying to explain. No. It looks like he just fell and twisted something. I think he's alright, but I wanted to make sure. If it's fine with you, I'll borrow the nurse's office for a bit. Please do, Dr. Irie. The principal gave him a deep bow. It looked like Coach was acquainted with the adults at school. He slid open the doors to the nurse's office, but there wasn't a nurse in there or anything. I'd figured. I'd never seen anyone but Chie-sensei and the principal working here. Coach didn't seem to mind the fact that there was no nurse and quickly made his way to the nurse's office. He instructed me to sit down and started washing his hands in the sink. Oh, I get it. He's the coach for the boys' baseball team. He must be pretty used to treating wounds with first aid. Could you show me where it was? Are you still in pain? No, it doesn't hurt at all anymore. I'm fine, really. I rolled up my shirt and showed him my shoulder. No bruise, not even nail marks. And yet it had hurt so much I thought my shoulder would be crushed. Even the pain had disappeared without a trace. It hurts so much, but there isn't a single bruise. It just means he's used to doing that. Used to it, huh? The next time you meet him, don't provoke him. Nothing good will come of making him angry. Alright, Astra. Thank you for hanging out for a bit. See you later. If you go home with a uniformed policeman by your side, your family won't like that, will they? Well, you're right. Still, what happened? Why did you end up in a fight with him? He came up and said he needed something from Sadako. Huh? Sadako-chan? Coach's gaze lowered and his expression clouded a bit. Somehow that gesture seemed to be saying Oishi was bound to come to Sadako, and that it was no laughing matter. Coach fell silent in thought. Quietly, he took a compress out of his first aid kit and put it on me. Does he still plan on clinging to Sadako-chan? He's a persistent man, I'll give him that. Like a snake. Coach mumbled to himself. Cling? Does that Oishi guy go to Sadako's place a lot? Coach didn't answer, but the lack of a denial served well enough. What on earth did the policeman, probably a detective or something, need from Sadako? What mistake had led a detective to cling to the sweetly smiling Sadako? Maibara-san. Oh, right. You just moved here, didn't you? Yes, I did, but... Have you heard anything about Oyashiro-sama's curse and about Sadako-chan? Well, I knew a few things about it, certainly. Sadako's parents were dam proponents, and their accidental death was because of the curse. You mean that? Coach smiled thinly and dryly. So you know, he said, dropping his gaze. If I recalled correctly, there was an accident on a viewing platform at the public park she'd gone to with her family, and her parents died. And then, it was just big brother and little sister. And then she was with Rika-chan, and, when they lost their parents, Sadako-chan and her brother, Sadashi-kun, were given to their uncle and his wife to care for them. Oh, is that so? Their parents died in an accident, and Sadashi ran away, leaving only Sadako to start living with Rika-chan. I'd known that much, but this was the first time I heard they had been brought to their uncle and aunt. Their uncle was Sadako-chan's father's younger brother. Unfortunately, neither of the couple were people deserving of respect. Coach normally picked his words politely. So when he came out and said they didn't deserve respect, it really made me wonder what kind of people they were. As soon as Sadako-chan's parents came out in support of the dam, their uncle and aunt took on a lot of the shame in the village as well. They would have never welcomed in Sadako-chan and Sadashi-kun. I've heard that for the siblings, it was a very rough life. Bit by bit, Coach told me about the numerous agonies the Hojo siblings had suffered at their uncle's house. As their guardians, their aunt and uncle sucked up everything belonging to their family, to their immediate family. Sadako and Sadashi were crammed into a small room, and their lives were laden with things that were miserable both for their bodies and minds. In the first place, since apparently their aunt and uncle weren't on good terms, there was no end to their fighting. I'll just give a content warning for description of an abusive household situation. I'm not sure how in-depth it's gonna go here, but... And as if in revenge for that, whenever they saw Sadako or Sadashi's face... Gotcha, June. They would always find fault with them, scold them, yell at them, strike them, and take away meals as punishment. I still shudder to think about it. You've never known any Sadako but the energetic and healthy one now, so you probably couldn't imagine her face being so deathly pale, a girl always standing dazed in the shade of trees. I couldn't imagine it, and I didn't want to. That was how I honestly felt. But at the very least, Sadako wasn't like that anymore. She may have had a miserable life in the past, but it was different now. Something happened to change that life. Last year, on the night of the Watanagashi festival, their aunt died. She was beaten to death with a baseball bat by a drug addict. Rumors spread of the curse having killed an enemy of the village on the night of the festival. Baseball bat? Question mark? Yes. I see. This death wasn't a simple homicide either. They whispered that it was actually Oyashiro-sama's curse. A few days later, the deviant arrested for drug use confessed to further offenses, and the incident was resolved. However, though it was resolved, no one knew whether the part about it being Oyashiro-sama's curse was true or not. Their uncle is part of Hinamizawa, after all. He apparently grew incredibly frightened of Oyashiro-sama's curse and went into hiding. From what I've heard, he's staying with a lover somewhere in Okinomiya. And Sadako and Sadashi, were they released? Their aunt died and their uncle fled. There was nobody left to torment the siblings then, but as if picking up their torch, that man started showing up with alarming tenacity. That man? Then Coach lowered his voice just a bit, as if being aware of his surroundings. I mean Oishi. Oishi. The guy from before? The events that just occurred came back to me. Actually, I should read this whole page over. Oishi, the guy from before. The events that just occurred came back to me. A hard-to-describe ominous sensation I'd felt from him came back to me. He's a little strange. The chain of incidents surrounding Oyashiro-sama's curse have all been solved, and yet he alone doesn't want to accept that. Accept it? The incidents were all solved, and a detective supposedly with the police department didn't accept that? People say that something bad will surely happen to those he gets close to. In Hinamizawa, they think Oishi-san is Oyashiro-sama's Kei-chan! So welcome, Uber. The door flew open with a rattle and Mion came rushing in. Rena and Rika-chan came running in a few steps behind her, and Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, and a few more of our classmates. Kei-chan, did Oishi do something to you? Are you hurt? Calm down, Mion-san. He's not injured. I only gave him a compression just in case, or a compress just in case. Keiichi-kun, are you really okay? Okay. Everyone was saying stuff about how you were being strangled. Calm down, Rena. You just squeezed my shoulders really hard. See, there's not even a bruise. Meep. Hi, Kara. Welcome. Jeez. What the heck were you all doing? We're friends, right? Why were you just standing around? Why didn't you help Kei-chan? We're sorry, President. Mion yelled at our classmates, baring her fangs. Oh my god, she's so pissed. She's like, don't you know what you are supposed to swarm like zombies? Tomita-kun and the others hung their heads in silence. Quit it, Mion. Tomita-kun and the others weren't even there. Stop blaming them. Her fangs? What is she, a furry? No, she's a demon, don't you remember? Damn. Damn it! Oishi! Mion kicked the floor with her heel a few times, her temper running hot. Our teacher, overhearing the commotion, arrived as well. Hey, come on, everyone. Don't make so much noise in the nurse's office. President, take everyone and leave, please. Come on, everyone. Let's get going. Keiichi-kun is fine. You too, Mi-chan. She was like, Mion, get everybody out of here. And Ren is like, all right, everybody. And also Mion. Yeah, they're like, she's like, two of you should have come up and put your hands on Oishi's shoulders. Mion was letting her emotions get the best of her, so Rena stepped in instead and let everyone out of the nurse's office. The detective from Okinomiya Station, Oishi Kuraudo. It looked like the first impression I'd gotten from him hadn't been mistaken. Sadako's absence had amplified the vague apprehensions I'd felt since yesterday, and Oishi's appearance basically sealed the deal. Alright, I'll get going. I originally came here for Chie-sensei. Ah, so you had something to do here. Sorry for causing you trouble. Don't be so humble, he said, smiling easily. There was a side benefit to all this. Oh god, being weird again. Please excuse me. You weren't wounded badly, but please avoid putting pressure on your shoulders or anything along those lines. If you get a high fever or it starts to swell, contact me right away, okay? I don't think it'll happen, though. Oh, that's right, Coach. Before everyone came in, you were going to say something. About what people think Oishi is to Oyashiro-sama. As he was about to leave the nurse's office, Coach placed a hand on the door and stopped. Right. They think he's Oyashiro-sama's servant. They're just bad-mouthing him, though. Oyashiro-sama's servant? Do you know about the serial freak death incidents that occur in Hinamizawa every year on the night of the Wadanagashi festival, otherwise known as Oyashiro-sama's curse? What? Freak deaths? What? Now that I thought about it, I did seem to remember Mion or someone in class talking about it like a ghost story. On the festival day in June, one person would always die, and another person would be spirited away. But they seem to call it demoning away here. Onikakushi. What a fine story that was. I figured they made it up to scare me, but it was true? I don't have any idea who first suggested this, but at some point, everyone started calling Oishi Oyashiro-sama's servant. Why? Because the rumors go that he decides the sacrifices for the curse every year. Whenever June came around, Oishi would start paying frequent visits to Hinamizawa. Because Oishi had been persistently questioning most of the dead or disappeared people. 4 years ago, it was known that the victim of the dismemberment, rumored to be the sacrifice, had been seeing Oishi numerous times leading up to the incident. The sacrifices 3 years ago were Sadako's parents. Right before their accidental deaths, Oishi had apparently visited their home. The one who disappeared 2 years ago was Rika-chan's mother. And again, people know that before she vanished, Oishi had been talking to her extremely frequently. The one who disappeared last year, Sadako's older brother, Satoshi. Satoshi, too, had apparently been approached by Oishi many times before he vanished. And then, this year, this time, Oishi was trying to contact Sadako? This isn't a freaking joke. They're rumors, Maibara-san. There's just some rumors to that effect. I hadn't said that because of the rumors of Oishi being Oyashiro-sama's servant, or his contacting someone foreshadowing who would be the sacrifice that year. It was because the ominous hatred I felt towards Oishi was becoming more substantiated, more real. Today, Sadako, she was absent today, wasn't she? Wait, really? That looked like news to Coach. Wasn't it Takano who was the Onikakushi victim in the past 2 books? Takano was Onikakushi'd in the first book, but Takano's body was found in the second book. I pinged June, yeah. That looked like news to Coach. I had thought he might have known why Sadako was absent today, but then I'll get going. You should go back to the others and put their minds at ease. You're right. I will. Clatter. Coach left the nurse's office and headed towards the teacher's lounge. Higurashi. When they cry. So, yeah, I will bring up. Oishi is the last person that Keiichi talked to in books 1 and 2 before he died. That is kind of wild. We got some tips. Research notes. I wonder what this could be. The Hojo family. Every year, Oyashiro-sama's curse claims 2 victims. This means that with 4 years in a row, there have been 8 now, but it's worthwhile to note half of them have been members of this family. Note, the curse on the 2nd year, a certain falling accident, involved the death of Hojo, a dam proponent, and the disappearance of his wife. She was pronounced dead the following year after being considered to have vanished under perilous circumstances. The curse on the 4th year involved the death of the Hojo siblings' aunt, who was their foster mother, and the disappearance of the elder brother. The Hojo family is a poor one, and it's hard to say Mr. Hojo's job went very well. Apparently, upon reemployment via family connections, there was a plan for them to return to the home of the mother's side of the family. For Mr. Hojo, the eviction due to the Hinamizawa Dam project and the payment of a large amount of compensation money was essentially a windfall. Mr. Hojo aggressively accepted the Ministry of Construction's negotiations from an early stage and selected others from Hinamizawa who were also dam proponents. It was rumored he had been bought out by the Ministry of Construction for doing so, but the truth is unknown. However, the dam proponents were in the vastly outnumbered minority. In addition, as the Sonozaki family strengthens its own foundation and promised support against the dam, all of the proponents save for Mr. Hojo switched over to the anti-dam side. At this point, Hinamizawa was completely united against the dam, and Mr. Hojo was held up to ridicule as a stooge of the dam project's proponents. He was, essentially, used as a scapegoat for the anti-dam coalition. In the end, the dam project collapsed with Oyashiro-sama's curse and the dismemberment incident. However, punishment towards the bitter enemies supporting the dam project continues to this day. There are not many left today who supported the dam project, nor who had a negative reputation at the time. If there were any candidates left for the curse, it's the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year, Hojo Teppei, and Mr. Hojo's daughter, Hojo Sadako. Strangely, these 2 are the only candidates left. Will this year's curse come down on 2 of them? There is more than enough value in observing them both. I spaced out for a bit. That was research notes, so we don't know whose that was. I do not believe it's Oishi. I think I know who it is, but it could be Oishi. I don't think it is. Well, we'll see. I can't really reveal my reasons for not thinking it's Oishi. They're not an Oishi-related spoiler, I just think it's more sense for someone else to have written them, but... Was Hot Fuzz ripping off Higurashi? Everything was. That's the second time somebody's mentioned Hot Fuzz, at least, which is great. To Oishi-san, there was a call for you from Section 4's Chief Shigeharu. Apparently, the slaughtered corpse in the Ojikawa River is related to the S group, as we thought. We're still verifying what happened behind the scenes, but apparently the deceased filled up dozens of self-created fictional bank accounts to their limits with money from the S group, reaching around 100 million yen. It appears there were 3 or 4 men with former S group connections involved in this. They've already disappeared along with millions of yen. The deceased was tortured on that point for information, and she clearly was slaughtered as an example to others. There are apparently some real wizards chasing down the people who disappeared. Real wizards? Shadow Wizard Money Gang are also spreading letters to related Yakuza groups not to harbor them. There's still no evidence that Hojo Tepe is one of these people. From what Chief Shigeharu has seen, nothing's been announced. For such a dependent, the man wasn't trusted at all. Hojo Tepe has left his apartment in Okinomiya and has returned to his former residence in Hinamizawa. Yeah, there it is.